Hello. It is expected that you have already watched the 30-minute video from week 1. So you know why I'm doing these. And now that I've met you all, I can kind of tailor what I say in these videos. And also kind of not have to do so much follow-up, because now we're kind of getting into the groove. So you're going to have 2 weeks to get into the groove, but I highly recommend you still get your posts done by Wednesday and do your replies by Sunday, your initial posts in the discussion thread. And then this material, you got to watch it and know it, write it, put it in your notes. So we're going to cover, I'm going to try to just let this run about 30 minutes. We're going to talk about the entrepreneurial strategy and 3 major types of innovation. So we'll go with first. And I'm going to talk about, as I was writing this, I was like, well, how am I going to explain this to you guys? Here's just what it is, and then I will tell you where I'm at with one of mine. So generate new entry opportunity. The exploitation of a new entry opportunity, and I don't like that word. I really don't like the word exploitation. It just sounds like but. And then number 3, a feedback loop from culmination of a new entry opportunity and generation, and then exploit, and then back to stage 1, like double check, like, is this still working? So with this one, I just had to follow up on a solar project. But let me think here. Before I go into my story, I'll just go through these, because as I'm telling you the story about a solar project that I'm working on, you will, I'll throw this stuff in and you'll see how it relates. So 3 major types of innovation: breakthrough, and this is like the internet, penicillin, an airplane, cars, the computer, Wi-Fi. But then on breakthrough, there's also technological, and I put Wi-Fi on both because it is technological. But then I also put vaccines under technological, because vaccines are, in fact, advanced technology. These are the things that kids in America, they get shots so that they don't get certain chickenpox, measles, that jazz. There's a lot of controversy, too, here in America about vaccines, but they are advanced technology. And then ordinary innovation is where you extend, like something from here, but then you extend an existing. Maybe it's an improved product or service. Or the example I wanted to give here was, I don't know if any of you have ever made a website for yourselves, or saw that you can make a website off of a skin or a template. It's called like a template. So it's basically, and there's so many, like, if you've noticed, you go on the internet and you see some websites kind of look the same. It's because they've used a skin or a template to build their website. So that's kind of like, all right, so we have the internet, we have websites, and then down here we have things like HostGator, GoDaddy, Wix, Squarespace, WordPress. Like, these are all, now you could make your own website. And even further down is you can make an app for your business. There's skins and templates to where you can make your app for like free. And then if you want to launch your app on a mobile device, you just pay either a monthly or an annual contract. So you can make an app for a business. Say you have your own Uber, your own taxi business, your own limo company. It actually looks like Uber, but you buy it and you use it for your own limo company. It was really cool. And then if you have a store, you can make an app for your own store. You can make an app for your pizza business. You can make an app for, I mean, almost everything. And it's just the skin. And then even if you have a game that you want to make, if your game is not that custom, if your game is like a simple game that follows like another game, maybe it's like Super Mario Brothers 3 or some kind of video game it's like a side scroll with jumping and this and that. There's templates out there, so basically you just buy that and then you add your own art, or you take your art and you put it in the game. So all this stuff is ordinary. So I've actually made a business app using a template, but for another project that I'm working on, I actually have to custom make the app because it's so custom that it's kind of up here what I'm doing. And that actually wasn't the one I was going to give you the example about for here. I was going to talk about solar. This other one is more education based. So let's talk about the solar project, because these words up here are like, what the heck does it mean? Generate a new opportunity, exploit the opportunity, feedback loop. Like, is this working? Is it going to work? So I'm going to start with down here because I have a stopping point. So I was on the phone today for about a half hour trying to understand where we are, because things changed up here. I started a solar project back when solar panels were the thing. And now solar tiles are, I don't know if it's breakthrough, but it's technological. So, and maybe it's an improvement on the breakthrough of solar, right? So, and it took me so long that mergers happened in companies, departments changed with the company I was working with. So at one point, I had issues with the organization, which was the buildings that we were going to put solar on. And then just today, I was like, now I have issues with the company that's going to put the solar. So the new opportunity was, hey, you get solar, let's get solar on these. And at that time, it was $200 per unit. So I generated the opportunity in my head by doing the math. I said, well, I have 914 units times $200. How much money is that for me, for us, for whatever? I mean, I looked at it as not only money for me, I looked at it as I get $200, but the person buying it gets a cheaper electric bill, and then the company gets more customers. So it was a win-win-win. And exploit, so we got it into the works. There was a lot of legal stuff that had to go, legal documents. Actually, California law also changed. So that's why we're here in this feedback loop. So since then, there was a company merger. So that company was no longer doing the $200 per unit. So I was like, well, that's okay actually, because I'm technically not allowed to get $200 it was technically unethical for me to do it, because by that time I had got elected to be on the board of directors of this company. And then when you're on the board of directors, you can't do stuff like that. So I was like, okay, well, it worked out okay. So we're now down to, I'm not going to get $200 per unit. The California law changed and the company changed. So we're down to just getting a win for the property as a whole, win for the person who's going to have a cheaper electric bill, the customer, a win for the company who's going to have a customer, giving them solar panels. Oh, I had 4 wins. Did I say a win for the member? Yeah, so a win for the HOA, a win for the member, a win for the solar company, a win for the environment, because I can't believe I forgot that one. So it's a win for the environment. So it was like 4 wins, right? Everybody wins. And right now we're down here waiting to hear back on what's going on. Like, I'm totally cool with the fact that exploiting the new entry, well, I personally myself can't have that, but everybody still wins in that. Customers get more solar. Actually, not only is it good for the environment, but you know how if you guys started living here in America, it's kind of not right that you're forced to use this electric company. You don't have a choice to say, hey, I want my electric bill to come from this company instead of that company. And it's like, you live here, this is the only electric you can get. Because right now, a lot of us have choices on who we want as a mobile provider, right? So we could choose between the different companies. And we can also choose between, more than one company for internet. In most places that have a lot of people, some places only have one internet provider. But, I think it's nice. It's just nice to have more companies, people have a choice. I want solar. I want this. I want, AT&T, Uverse, Cox, Time Warner, whatever the different ones are. So that's also in the realm of like social responsibility-ish. And then related to solar, I think I already covered this, where I said it was a breakthrough. Well, solar was kind of a breakthrough. So solar a long time ago was just like so expensive. It was a breakthrough that we could get energy from the sun on panels and make energy. But it was like clunky and expensive, super expensive. And then as technologically we've improved, it got to the point where as innovation, this more technological innovation happened to improve on this breakthrough, it became more readily available. So, ordinary is all the other companies who, well, so maybe NASA had the breakthrough, right? And then just this company might have the solar company, and there's like so many solar companies that provide solar. So you just do your research, you pick what you want to do, see if it's feasible. There's a lot of things to calculate. Like when I was working on this project, we had to design it. I had to go out there and just look at the meters and just number everything and measure everything. And then there were engineers out there like designing how many panels can go where. How are we going to get it to yes? Because how are the electric meters metered? It was a lot of work. Hopefully it'll go through in the next 3 months, or something will go through. But where was I with this? Okay, so yeah, an ordinary is like people have become like third party. Like right here, like this website called Wix or whatever gets a bunch of people who already created HTML or coded websites, and they buy it off these maybe individuals. They take theirs and then they just resell it as like a skin or a template. So it's kind of like, it's like, now we have solar panels, so I'm going to make up my own solar company, and with my own solar company, sell panels. But it's somebody else's work. We have a lot of these, and I think in class, if I want to stick to the same example that I was giving, there was a video game that a bunch of guys, let me see how much time I have. Okay, I have 15 minutes to tell you another story. Because when you think of these, do you think, oh, the breakthrough is the one that's maybe going to be the multi-billion-dollar big one, whatever. You know what? Wi-Fi, internet, all that stuff. There was a person, Nikola Tesla, who had the breakthroughs. People like Edison monetized off of him. So it wasn't it's not necessarily where the breakthroughs come, but sometimes it's the ordinary that just extend on it, make it better, add the business part to it. And sometimes it's down here where you have the super successful organizations and companies. So this is where I was going with the story. I will call this entertainment company ordinary because a group of guys was playing a video game, and as they were playing the video game, they were thinking about ways to make it better. They just happened to be software engineers, most all of them, who started this. So they were able to actually code it and do it. So what they did was, one guy borrowed $10,000 from his grandmother, and him and his, maybe it was 3 to 5 guys. And they worked together to make a better video game. So the video game was a lot like, it was already like a breakthrough in a technological, because it was allowing people to play together. It was back in the times when the internet first started and people started to connect on the internet and play games together on the internet. So what these guys did was take that, make it better, improved upon it, but then in the process of doing that, had another technological innovation, maybe a breakthrough, because what happened here was, even starting down here led them to create the first MMO, massive multiplayer online game. And there's no other game that ever had that many people play. And for 10 years, it had like 15 million people playing. And every other game that was like, everything that then later copied that one was like down here, like under 1 million players, under like hundreds of thousands of players. So you can even start here, have something while you're in there, a technological breakthrough, and then people are doing ordinary on what you did. I don't know if that makes sense. So I'm going to try to ask you guys to think of 1 or 2, 3, maybe look on the internet, or just think about a company that you know that did that. I'll give you the one that comes to my mind is Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz had the highest safety features of cars back then. And I don't know if you guys remember or know, then Volvo and Mercedes allowed their patents, trade secrets, copyrights, so companies can choose to keep them hidden or share them, and Mercedes shared them. And Volvo at the time really took and focused on the safety stuff. So Volvo started to, just take a Mercedes breakthrough and then put it into their cars. And then Volvo started to get to be known as a safe car. So one more thing I forgot the term. If you guys can think of the term, it's a type of asset. I'll post it. Actually, if I stop this video and I look on my phone, I will find the term. Intellectual property. So you have I'm going to put it in the notes. You can have a patent, like for safety in a car, and share it. And I think that's why Mercedes did so well, because they were sharing. Sharing is caring. So you can also have it and not. But you have to understand, in a society, when you're not sharing, you're not giving others the opportunity to try to make something better and then even more better. So I personally am on the sharing bandwagon, and this company did share a lot. The only thing they didn't share was when they were coming out with the new game, They just kept it secret until they launched it. But as far as like other technological stuff, as soon as the game came out, there's ways to just deconstruct the game and just reverse engineer it. So you don't have anything. You just have the hype of the new game. So that from my time at this entertainment company, that was the thing, was keeping the game on the down low. Don't tell anybody about it. All right. Let me look up that term. I'm going to look up the term because when you have a product that is intangible assets, there you go. I didn't have to look it up. I thought of it. So a tangible asset is like, the tangible asset's like the car. An intangible asset is how we made the car. Patent, trade secret, copyright. Like, if we choose to share how we made it so safe, so other companies can also make safe cars, then great. So this is a tangible, and these are intangible assets are like also like your copyrights in music or your copyright for your book. And that's why I want you guys to learn from my experiences. You decide whether you want to keep your copyrights or not. And just be informed and in the know. I've also worked on movie projects where we gave the rights to a distributor and they didn't do their job distributing. They just didn't do anything. And then they wouldn't let us do anything. So how much time do I have? Okay, like about 7 more minutes. So you're going to get more information here. I'll give you an example. There are times in some businesses where rights of things, books and things will be bought so they could be suppressed. So that does happen. So I want you to be aware, especially if your work is controversial in any way. Always keep a keen eye and sense for who you're doing business with and why they want to do business with you and what the deal actually is. I know I mentioned in class about the Oprah Winfrey Network back in 2007 or 2008. That's when, hi, I'll be done in a minute. There was a sign on the door too. Like, yeah. So this is what I wanted to tell you about that. So Oprah Winfrey Network was just starting out, and they wanted intangible assets. Intangible assets are like these, like my ideas, my show programs, my work. So when I sent the proposal, they sent me back this contract, and that's when I said no, because it was like, you want my whole brain and you want to own my brain. So at that time in my life, I figured I didn't want to sell myself to the Oprah Winfrey Network, because Oprah Winfrey Network could also take what I just gave them and kick me to the curb. So I was just like, that's what happened with that. Not that if I wrote a book and I got to be on Oprah, I wouldn't go. Heck yeah, let's do that. If you got a book and you can get on Oprah to talk about it, do it. But make sure you have yourself set up in a way where, as you're exposed to so many people, you are getting their contact information. If they're interested in your book, you have their name, their address, their cell phone number, maybe their birthday, whatever. Just have like a form where you're starting to collect the people who are interested in your products and your things. So, I had thousands and thousands back in my music career days, and it's like I really can't use those now because I do something different now. But doesn't mean, I'm looking at the time, but doesn't mean I can't log on and just extract those email addresses. So I'm not a spammer though, because it's actually illegal to spam. So when you do get on a platform and you're gonna get organic and people who really want to stay connected with you, and if you notice on websites, you go on a website and then something pops up and it's like, give us your email address, or hey, you could download this free PDF, but like, give me your email address if you want this free PDF. That's how they do it if you haven't noticed already. So when you have your products or services, just generate and have a mailing list, and you could do it. I've so far have found it for as low as $5 a month. I was paying $20 a month, but because this company asked me to help them and work with them, they gave me, they told me that I could just generate my list with $5 a month. And then when I got to the point in my business where I wanted to send emails, then depending on how many people I had, I would be charged, 20, 30, 40, 50, how much ever it is. So, and going back to last week, that was me using my resources, my mouth, chatting. I called this company up. I was like, I help all these senior citizens with this stuff. And they're like, oh, well, we have a program where if you're helping people, we're going to give you a percentage of what they pay. I was like, oh, tell me more. So get out there, talk, do things. Write these down, know these things, and send me feedback about this video. Dr. Pop, please write neater. Well, maybe. Okay, I'll give myself feedback. I'll try to make it neater. And for those of you, if I'm not speaking clearly enough, I'm sorry, I apologize. Please go ahead and send me an email if you need me to read, if what I said you didn't get, and just say, hey, you said something about this. Can you please, and if I type it out then and you read it, you might be able to understand it better. So let's do it that way. Okay, happy today, happy every day. I'm at 27 minutes. I'll have another follow-up video. We'll talk more about tangible and intangible assets. I think that's important. Actually, no. What I think will be more useful, you know what? Let me just do this funnel for you guys. We got 3 minutes. Let me just do. Because I can't stress how important it is, because we don't know it's being done to us until we see, So let me do this. And I'm sure if you're on the internet or if you've done stuff, you might have come across this at least one time. And you know how it could get annoying. Okay. So, we got people on the internet. Maybe they'll give you a value video. So this could be, short info about their book, their secret. So many people have secrets, and then they want you to buy them. So it's like a value video, short information about a book, their secret, and it's like, 3 to 5 minutes. Sometimes it's an ad. Sometimes it's a YouTube ad. Oh, if you get on YouTube and you start to see these ads that are like, oh, make $1 million. You know what? It's not about money. Happiness is about a bunch of other things. So, but because a lot of people think happiness is about money, these people click on videos. So, how I make so much money online. Yeah, I've actually went through all those. I went through classes for free. I learned on my own how this online marketing stuff works. So I'll give you one for online. So, hey, buy my book about how to make money online. That's a value video, right? So you watch the value video, and then it says, download this PDF, but give me your email address, right? Or it'll say something like, watch my other video. I don't like this kind of marketing. I think it's not nice. Watch other video, right? So, I'm more on the bandwagon of like, here's a TED Talk or something like, here's my presentation and here's my website. Go to my website. And then if you guys are going to build your website, I think it's nice to have, name, email, first and last name, email, and, cell phone number. It's just one of those things where texting, people are even moving away from email. I just see it sociologically. So just having the person's text is wise. So get cell phone numbers. And then, and people, they like you, they watch your value video about your book or your consulting, and they're going to like you. They'll give you this information. But you can also tell people to come to your webinar. You can have a webinar, right? Instead of just giving a PDF out. And then you get people together at a certain place and a certain time, or you have a pre-recorded webinar. And then in that webinar, you tell them what you want them to do next, or you tell them more information. Or then you say, now, if you want to know more about A, B, and C, you have to buy, spend $10. And a lot of times these guys know compliance techniques. It's a psychological term. Thank psychologists for coming up with all this stuff, and then people taking it and using it, the dark side. They're like, oh, well, spend $5 or $10. And if they get you to spend $5 or $10, they think you might spend $50. Sometimes they'll have you spend $70 and then ask you for $300 and then ask you for $5,000. And I had one with the audacity to ask me for $15,000. I was like, you crazy girl, you give me $15,000. So this is the online marketing world. So the funnel, so what I'm telling you is you're out there and we're almost always out there. So just have just to build your network and, have a page online or have a system. You pick how you want it. Right now I had to outsource that because my phone was just too confusing for me to just put every contact in my phone. Plus some people I don't meet. Some people are online and they want to stay connected, then they just go through my form online. And you have a form too, because if you're on Oprah, sure as heck are not going to sit there and type everybody's email. They're going to come to you, and that's awesome. So set yourself up for success so that you're not like, oh, well, now I don't. Because these publishers and people who come to want to buy your stuff or distribute, they're already thinking that they're going to do this, and that's how they're going to gain one up on you. I want you to know that people are nice in this world, but sometimes people are not. So the funnel is this. It's like, here's a value video, here's an ad or a value video, then here's something I'm willing to give you for free, but you're going to give me your email address. And then it's like, now buy this, And I was telling you guys in class, some of you weren't in class when I was sharing this. So you don't have to buy. You could just go on another browser and look up what is, like I was watching the cruise control diet one yesterday, and I didn't even get to the point where the guy was gonna tell me how much I had to buy his book for. I just did a search, what is the cruise control diet? And people were like, oh, it's just common sense, don't eat processed foods. I was like, okay, cool. Get it? But I fell for it, and I went through, I was like, I'm falling for it. And with you guys in your business, what you're going to do is you're not going to need to trick people or have people fool people. You're going to do legit business. You can. You're all talented enough to just do what you believe and what's in your heart. And after we went through the self-awareness exercise, you can do stuff that you really believe in and get behind. And you could choose to sell out if you want. It's okay. That's okay too. But be aware. And if you really have a genuine love for helping people, you don't need to do the scammy stuff. So, okay. If you have questions, email me. I said that like 3 times already. Okay.